Okay, I think I stopped the video, and this is part two, picking up what I was saying about Evan. He suddenly sat up. Um, he took command. He spoke. His voice became stronger. And over the next couple of weeks, he made his decision about his life. And shortly thereafter, he stopped coming to therapy. He had made his decision. He had moved on. He felt much better. He thought he was speaking rationally and sanely about his family situation. And he was no longer stuck in anxiety and confusion. And all of the symptoms outside of his marriage went away as well. His shakiness that he was describing in other areas of his life. This all went away. Now, the realization that caused all this was physical. It ran through his body. In his description, I feel it in my bowels, he said. It was like the lifting of a great weight. Now, this is what I mean by insight. To the extent that his friends' advice, my advice, things he had read about or heard in support groups, things he thought his way through rationally and logically, to the extent that those were helpful a little bit, they were therapeutic, but they weren't therapy. Therapy requires something much more powerful. The word I like is insight, not just me, a lot of people like it. And it has to do with this awareness that pervades the whole body, the whole self. That kind of personal and energizing insight that Evan experienced in session, that's what you want to happen in therapy, and that is what heals. Not learning, not ideas. Okay? What else did I want to say about all this? I think I've covered it. This is an example of a case demonstrating why get in touch, demonstrating the difference between insight and other kinds of learning. And insight is what you want out of therapy. Other kinds of learning can happen many other places. A therapist can help you with those things, but you may not need that. But for insight, you may need therapy. You need a guide of some sort. It works. The change in Evan was striking. Oh, yes. It's funny. I forgot. Uh, as I said earlier in this case presentation, why I wanted to talk about this one, even though there are some better examples of cases that demonstrate the difference between insight and intellectual learning better. But the reason I'm talking about Evan is this. He, as I said, he came to therapy for not very long. I think it was about 6 to 8 months. After he left, he kept in touch with me. He made his decision about his marriage and his life. He did some changing to the marriage and the marital situation, but he stayed in the marriage. He and his wife spoke openly about the change in their feelings for each other. I never met her. I don't know if she stayed in love with him. She certainly was at the time that I met him. But he made it clear that their marriage was, that he wasn't in love with her that way anymore, but they wanted to stay together for the child. They were both completely devoted to him. They made it work. They both had affairs. Yeah, Evan told me that. But it seemed to work, and when he was in high school, about 10 years later, they split up. At that point, of course, kid has much more of his own life and can go his own way, and it was easier for Evan to have the same contact with him, even though he was no longer living in the house. Over the next 5, 6 years, Evan continued to have a wonderful life. He developed a new relationship. He was much happier. He came in for a couple of sort of checkup sessions with me. And recently he was killed in a motorcycle accident. Drive carefully. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.